Hello, Practicum. Today we're going to talk about our liaison responsibilities. So this is, if you are the CWES liaison, it'll show on the schedule if you are the liaison, and these are going to be your responsibilities for the day. So when you first arrive, you're going to assist the Practicum director with the morning meeting. You're going to run through the whole schedule, and you're going to make sure to remind the other Practicum students and even the staff of the important times and locations. And you're also going to assign a leader for each games break. So you can just ask another student if they feel comfortable leading one or two games during what games break and when. And also, you'll be coordinating where outdoor lesson components will take place. Sometimes there might be 2 survival strategy lessons, for example. This is a good time to make sure that each student who's teaching those lessons know where they're going to be. And if necessary, you can plan an opener or a closer. You'll also want to make sure that all the classrooms that you'll be using are unlocked, and the sunset doors on the corral side are unlocked as well. If you need assistance with that, make sure you radio or ask one of the Practicum directors or another staff member. And something that's important to keep in mind too in the morning is to radio all staff and students to head over to Walker to greet the buses 15 minutes before they're scheduled to arrive. Once the students have arrived, if it's a residential group, you'll want to make sure that you help them move into the Walker or in the cabins if they're staying in a cabin. You can assign another student to lead the group to the cabin, and what they'll want to do is make sure they just drop off their stuff. If they're going to Walker, remind them to take their shoes off for the time that they are dropping off their stuff. Say that the boys sleep on the left and the girls sleep on the right. For the cabins, it's really important to make sure you identify where the bathhouse is so that they know where they can go to the bathroom. Don't have them don't have them start their sleeping bags and get their bunks made up. They're really just setting their things down, and if it's nice out, you can have them meet outside, or you can meet in the common area in Walker when they're done, and you'll greet the group basically. If it's a day group, you'll just want to have all the students come to sunset, and you can really just have them drop off their lunches and their backpacks at the tables, and then you can go through this greeting. When you're greeting the group, you're going to tell them who you are, that you're excited for them to come, and you're going to have the rest of the staff introduce themselves as well. And you're going to ask all of the teachers and the chaperones who are there with you for the day to meet with the Practicum directors separately, and that way you'll be in charge for the entire meeting, and the Practicum director is going to be talking to them aside. So make sure, sometimes it's difficult to get the chaperones and teachers' attention, so that's a great way to tell them where and who they're meeting with. While they're meeting, you're going to give the students an overview of the day, maybe what their lessons are going to be, what to expect, an overview of the basic schedule for the day, and you're going to go over our CWES rules. Just like school, we have rules here at CWES. You want to tell them about respect and the golden rule even, and you also want to make sure that they're here to have fun. They're going to learn a few things along the way, but you want to make sure that they're going to have fun. And then it's also important to explain what the attention grabber is going to be for the day if it hasn't been addressed already. So this is going to be like a call and response or some type of rhythm that you'll use in order to get their attention. And then you'll want to practice it with the students as well. And then depending on the weather of the day, you want to make sure that the students are all dressed appropriately. There's ponchos, they can use those. If it's winter, you can have the hats and neck warmers and scarves and mittens and whatever they may need, and make sure they have a chance to go to the bathroom too before you start your lessons for the day, because you don't want to get out in the corral to divide out the lessons and all of the kids have to go to the bathroom. So make sure you do that. And then again, depending on the weather, you can either announce the groups inside the dining hall or outside of the corral, and which group is going to be with which educator, and the educators can separate themselves out to help the students identify who they're going with. During lunchtime, once it's lunchtime, you want to make sure that the students have washed their hands before eating, and then you, as the CWES liaison, are in charge of going over all the mealtime and cleanup procedures with the students, and you'll have to see the additional forms and videos that we have on that. At the end of the day, You're going to wrap up the day with review questions of what the students have learned. This is your time to really be creative and do whatever you think is great in order to kind of have a reflection for the day and make sure the students have some takeaway for the day. It's really easy to get into the same habit of doing the same thing, so I really encourage you to be creative and do your own thing and see what works and what doesn't. You'll be able to have time to invite the students back and make sure you let them know about summer camps. Especially if they've had a great time at CWES, they can definitely come back for summer camps. We'd love to see them. All of the information is available on our website, and if it's the springtime, we'll be able to hand out some brochures for each student to give, and you can give them to the teachers, and the teachers can make sure that they're passed out back at school. Make sure you also have time to thank the teachers and the chaperones and even the students for a great day. I'm sure they love their time out at CWES. And then make sure you give an overview of what's next. So either they're a residential group and the teachers are going to have their teacher time, or if they're just a day group, they're going to be getting on the bus. So make sure you give the teachers a heads up of what's going on so that they're not confused either. Make sure if they are staying that they know when dinner is going to be and where, and you can also go through the schedule with them at this time and let them know what their evening activities are going to be, and maybe if there's new staff coming on, who they're going to be and when they'll meet them. And once all of the school groups are gone for the day, it's your time to make sure to lock all the classrooms and that they're all clean and ready to go for the next day. You might have to assist with dining hall cleanup depending on the meal, with either washing the dishes or wiping down the tables. And then that's when all of that is done, that's when you will start to write the thank you letter in the practicum office. And the letter will be a note from each of the teachers basically describing what they noticed in their lessons for the day on the students, and then you'll print it off and sign it, and you'll place it into Tom's mailbox, basically. So that's it for the CWES Liaison responsibilities. Of course, if you have any questions relating to them, always ask Tom or Linda or any of the other graduate students.